What's up, everybody? Caldera has been available for everybody for about a week now. It was a week yesterday. We spent most of the first week on Vanguard Royale quads, Vanguard Resurgence, and then we finally have Battle Royale, solos, duos, trios, quads. So I've had time to spend with the Vanguard guns within Vanguard Royale. I've had time to spend time with the Vanguard guns against both Modern Warfare Cold War and then also Vanguard guns. And so I decided, instead of just doing 10 straight up loadouts, since we have two kind of different gun sets, whether you're in Battle Royale or Rebirth, or Vanguard only, instead of just doing 10 straight loadouts, I did 5 for Vanguard only, 5 for Battle Royale and Rebirth. I'll let the classes kind of speak for themselves, kind of go over it after, I'll go over what I'm hinting at here after I go through all the loadouts, or as I start to go through the BR and Rebirth loadouts, but let's go and jump into them. Alright, we're going to start off with our Vanguard only loadouts for Vanguard Resurgence and Vanguard Royale. And so for Vanguard Royale, that's what we have the VR for. Number 5 and 4, I kind of think you can switch depending on what you're feeling. 5's got a lot better TTK than 4, but 4 is going to just move better and go around the map better, ADS better. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a minute. The Vanguard Royale, just a note, they're mostly sorted by TTK, really, except for number 5 is kind of farther back than number 5's TTK, at least for the LMG. That LMG is going to be the DP27. It has one of the fastest long-range times to kill. I think it's 3rd or 4th. It might be second behind the Bren. It actually is. I think it's second behind the Bren, but it's got some horizontal bounce to it, and it's an LMG, so it moves slower, reloads slower. So I put it back at number 5. And so the loadout, you're gonna see this kind of loadout pretty much on all the guns where you see the MX silencer. The MX silencer's sound suppression and accuracy hurts your ADS speed, and your other option is the Mercury silencer for sound suppression, but that hurts your damage range. Or if you're just looking to stay off the map, you could also go subsonic, but that hurts your bullet velocity. So we go with the MX silencer. That's going to be on all of our long-range guns for those reasons. Carver foregrip gives you the best recoil control. Depending on the gun, you could also switch it to the M1941 hand stop because that gives you recoil control and doesn't hurt your aim down sight speed, but it doesn't give you as much recoil control. And if you use these Vanguard guns, you know that's pretty important on like all of them. And then for the barrel, we went with the 680mm B02D. It gives you recoil control and accuracy, as well as reducing scope sway and gun bob when you're ADS, and it gives you bullet velocity. It hurts your vertical recoil control, but you're just pulling down on that. We have other attachments for that. We look for bullet velocity and range, and so you could also go with the 604mm for bullet velocity and range, but it doesn't also increase your or help your recoil control as much. In fact, it doesn't increase your recoil control at all. And it's the only barrel, the 680, that actually gives you recoil control. And so far for the scope, the best scope I found is the 3 and 6 multi-zoom or variable scope. It doesn't give you any recoil control, but it's a really clean sight picture. It doesn't bounce. I tried out the 3.5 rifle scope on guns, but it just feels like it hits you in the face, kind of like Cold War optics used to. It's kind of up to you. I know some people also use the 4x8, but that hurts your ADS more. And then I know probably the second most popular one to the 3 and 6 variable is the 2.5 times. It just doesn't quite zoom in as much as I would like, so I would not rock it over the 3 to 6. But if you're not going to do the 3 to 6, I would do the 2.5 times for all your long-range weapons. Then for magazine, we went with the 105 round. If you're not going to do the 105 round, I would do the 47 round if you like to ADS. But that's just not enough bullets with the weak time to kill and the weak damage per round on the Vanguard guns. So I went with the 105 to get more. You can try the 30-06 rounds, either the 81 or the 63 because of the larger caliber. But then you get more recoil control, and I think this thing already bounces a little bit. You lose fire rate, you lose aim down sight speed and movement speed, and I just don't think it's worth it. It doesn't kill any faster. In fact, it might even kill slower because of the fire rate. I know a lot of the numbers guys like Exclusive Ace, True Game Date, and JGOT are still working on numbers. Rubber grip for recoil control. Your other option here is pine tar grip, but that hurts your ADS speed without giving you much more recoil control at all. And I'm not worried about hip fire accuracy, so I want to go with the most amount of recoil control. I go with the rubber grip. For stock, I go with the Empress VCV for the recoil and accuracy during sustained fire. It does hurt your movement speed, but your other options for recoil control are this one, are the TAC that helps your initial firing, or the ZAC S2M, which helps your horizontal recoil and your ADS speed, but it hurts your movement speed. If you don't like the Empress, I would go with the ZAC because the horizontal recoil on Vanguard guns is especially bouncy, and it's a little bit better movement speed than the Empress, but I would recommend the Empress. Then for perks, I went sleight of hand. You can go fleet if you want to play really aggressive because it helps your movement speed and that LMG weapon swap quickness, but I went sleight of hand because the 105 round pan takes forever to reload. And then I went fully loaded. If you don't want to go fully loaded, I would probably go on hand just for throwing grenades and stuns more easily. But that's the only perks I would run on that. Then we have the PPSH. Before they fixed the PPSH damage, they said it was a bug causing it. It was the number 1 SMG, but now it's like 4 or 5 in time to kill. But depending on what SMGs you're comfortable with, put whatever SMG with whatever primary you want for the Vanguard loadouts. It's just the PPSH doesn't kill as fast as it did before they fixed that bug. Went with the oil can silencer because that's the equivalent to the other silencers you'll see on the Cold War guns. I believe it's the M1914, I think, is the silencer. But it helps sound suppression and accuracy. Bloom got taken out of the game is a big thing with SMGs, but just in case it's not taken out on every gun, the accuracy is more important. It does hurt aim down sight speed. So if you don't like that, I would definitely go Mercury silencer. Damage range isn't as important on an SMG if you're not running it as sniper support. If you're running a sniper support, it's definitely the oil can silencer. But SMG's ADS so fast, I would rather lose ADS speed than damage range. And the PPSH isn't a whole lot of recoil, so I'm not worried about the recoil control. Then the Empress Rapid Barrel. It hurts your accuracy, but like I said, Bloom was supposed to be removed. Hurts your sprint to fire speed, but it greatly increases your fire rate. And this thing has a really fast fire rate, so it turns it into a melt machine. If you're running it as sniper support, I would probably consider the 300mm barrel because it helps your accuracy, your recoil control, and your bullet velocity and range. So if you're going to run it as sniper support, I'd go with the ZAC 300mm. But as a secondary to an LMG or an AR, I would go with the Rapid Barrel. Then you go SMLE Pistol Grip. It hurts your recoil control and accuracy, but not a lot of recoil when you're only a few meters away from people. But it helps your sprint to fire speed and your hip fire accuracy. If you don't want to run that one, I would consider doing the Strife Angled Grip, which also helps your aim stability and your aim walking steadiness, but it doesn't help your, but it hurts your sprint to fire speed. And so I would do the SMLE Grip because it helps your hip fire accuracy and your sprint to fire speed, which is very important. But if you're just worried about aim down sight, go with the Mark 6 Skeletal. Then 71 round mags. The smaller caliber doesn't increase your fire rate enough, and the larger caliber may be a sniper support, but I just don't want the recoil control and the slow fire rate, because the reason the PPSH kills as fast as it does is the fast fire rate. And I just don't want to add more recoil to a gun that's iffy if you're trying to use it besides clearing buildings. Then we go hollow point to increase limb damage. Like I said, SMG, we're not as worried about damage range, so I'd rather just increase overall damage depending on where I'm hitting on the body. But if you're using sniper support, I'd probably go lengthened. There's maybe an argument for incendiary, just because you know how annoying fire rounds can be, but I would go with hollow point just to increase the limb damage. Then for all SMGs, we're going to run fabric grip to help the ADS speed, the sprint to fire speed, and the hip fire accuracy. Accuracy is not nearly as important now that they remove bloom, so we're not worried about that negative. Slate reflector is my favorite low zoom optic. I know some people use the NIDAR Model 47. Some people use one of the reflectors. I found the other reflectors like the MK8 or the monocle, but I like the Slate reflector. It just has like the thinnest bezel for me, and it's just got that little dot, kind of like the blue dots that people grinded for. Then the ZAC folding grip. It helps your aim down sight speed and your recoil recovery. On some SMGs, you'd run something like the remove stock, but this hurts your aim down sight speed, and we don't want that. And then the other guns don't help the other ones don't help your aim down sight speed, and they hurt stuff like movement speed, or aiming stability, or initial firing recoil. The Skeletal is probably the other one that I would run if you're not going to run the ZAC folding, because it helps your sprint to fire speed and your overall movement speed. Then from there, perk 2, I went with Fleet. If you're using this as sniper support, you might need tight grip for the recoil during sustained fire. But I would only otherwise run Fleet. I'm not worried about while I'm injured. So I'm not worried about disable, just hit your shots. Not worried about empty reload quickness, especially with the 71 round drum. I'm hoping I'm not emptying it mid-fight. and I'm not worried about ADS firing move speed as much. So I'd go with Fleet because that would also help your ADS movement speed. And then fully loaded, because it's an SMG, you could run on hand too, like you would with your primary, but you could also run reach or fast melee or heavy hitter because you're going to be in those close engagements. And then I switched from EOD to double time, but perks are up to you. Obviously, you have to run overkill for these, but I would either go double time or EOD, or I would go amped or combat scout, maybe tracker, especially if you're playing solos. And then Molotov cocktail, because we're not allowed Semtex. You either got to really run frag, Molotov, or C4. You could run throwing knife if that's your style, and then it's either stun, flash, smoke, stim, and I think maybe, and gas maybe. I've seen a lot of people run stim now that it helps your movement, but I still just run stuns, because even with the nerf, they're still kind of overpowered. From there, I have the STG. The STG feels very similar to the AK-47. It has a somewhat similar time to kill profile. There's two different ways you'd run this depending on how you would run it. This is the long range build. You can also run this kind of as a sniper support. I'll go over that in just a second. Once again, you see the MX silencer and Carver foregrip for the same reasons as I went over with the DP27. We have the VDD 760mm 05B barrel because it helps with your recoil control. Once again, that scope sway and gun bob, and it helps with damage range. Other barrels either hurt your bullet velocity, hurt your body damage, or they hurt your accuracy, sprint, fire speed without any real benefits besides fire rate. It's one to consider if you're running it maybe as like a sniper support SMG build, but I would still probably run the 670mm on that as well, especially because it's not like you get an ADS improvement, and the 760 doesn't hurt your ADS. Then the 3 to 6 scope or the 2.5x, depending on what you like. I have the weighted stock for accuracy, flinch resistance, recoil control, and aiming stability. It does hurt your movement speed and aim down sight speed. So if you don't want those penalties, I would consider probably the folding stock that helps your sprint to fire speed and movement speed, but then the recoil control is going to be more on you. Maybe the tactical because it helps your initial fire and recoil and your aim, walking, movement, and steadiness, but I don't really like that. And the remove stock hurts your recoil control, hurts your accuracy, and hurts your flinch resistance, so I just end up on the weighted stock. A lot of ARs, I'm going to run either the leather grip for this one, aim down sight speed, or aiming stability. If you don't want that, you want a little more recoil control, I would probably, just like on the DP, go with the rubber grip just to help recoil control. So I'd either go leather or rubber depending on how well you control your recoil. Then, here's where things kind of change. I'm going to run the vital perk no matter what. You could run Acrobat, especially if it's like Sniper Support, SMG. But there's nothing else that I really think is important. Maybe Sleight of Hand, but I just would rather put myself in better situations. And then fully loaded or on hand. If you're running an SMG Sniper Support, maybe Heavy Hitter, Reach, or Fast Melee. And then, like I said, here's where it kind of changes drastically. If you're running a Sniper Support, run the short rounds. It does increase the time to kill up close, but it seems to greatly hurt it at long range because it does hurt that fire rate. So this is really only for an SMG Sniper Support type build. You'd run the short rounds, but if you're running at long range, stick with the 8mm 60 round. And then Sniper Support SMG probably would say run hollow point for the limp damage, but it does hurt your damage range and bullet velocity. So you end up going with lengthened, especially for the long range build, to help your overall bullet velocity. Then from there, we have the MP40, and this is very important. You have to run the Space Issue Blueprint if you bought the Battle Pass. This, unfortunately, is not in a free tier. It's kind of pay to win, but the Vital perk is only on Space Issue. So if you have the Space Issue, run that Blueprint so you can run Vital. If you don't, I would probably run Momentum for move speed after kills if you push a lot, or probably Perfectionist just for the recoil control. Maybe Brace, maybe unmarked, but just try to run the Space Issue and keep the Vital perk on. Once again, just like all the SMGs, fully loaded, heavy hitter, on hand, reach, or fast melee. The only difference this time is quick. Sprint speed is improved. So if you find a lot of ammo all the time, go quick instead of fully loaded. But if you just want to make sure you have full ammo, go fully loaded. But I'd probably run one of those two over the other options. Once again, like I said, on all SMGs, we have Fabric Grip and Slate Reflector and SMLE Pistol Grip. Like I said, with the with the PPSH, change whatever the few grips I listed. And it's actually the M1929 silencer is the equivalent to the oil can, not the M1914. The M1914, I was thinking of the 1941 hand stop. But M1929 is your equivalent to the PPSH's oil can. So you're going to run that as usual, the SMLE pistol group as usual, hollow point as usual, fabric grip, fully loaded, and vital, and slate reflector as usual. The differences really here are the barrel, the magazine, and the stock. For the barrel, we end up kind of as process elimination again, like a lot of these attachments, and it's 317 millimeter 04B Krausnik barrel. For the recoil control, it do hurt sprint to fire speed and hip fire accuracy, but shrouded hurts your damage range. I've never understood what no enemy skulls means. And firing visibility to enemies, I'm assuming that means greater muzzle flash or something. But it hurts your damage range. I don't like that. The Krausnik 221-01B helps your aim down sight speed, hip fire accuracy, sprint to fire speed, which is all very important, but it hurts your bullet velocity, hurts your recoil control, and hurts your damage range. 3 negatives that we want to avoid. And the short barrel kills your headshot damage. So you end up with the Krausnik 317mm barrel. On stock, it's kind of the same thing. You lose accuracy of recoil control on the removed stock, but it helps your hip fire accuracy and your movement speed, whereas the folding helps your sprint to fire speed and movement speed, and is probably my second go-to, but it hurts your initial firing recoil without helping your movement speed more, or your sprint to fire speed. And then the padded hurts your movement speed greatly and your sprint to fire speed. The 34mm hurts your hip fire accuracy and your movement speed, 2 things we want to avoid. And the wire grip kills your movement speed and hurts your ADS. And so I end up with the removed stock or the folding for my 2. Then once again, same perks, same lethal tactical decisions are up to you. Then number 3, I put in sniper loadouts. The Vanguard snipers aren't very good, and none of the marksman rifles are great snipers either. So Vanguard car is actually really not that bad once you get used to it. It's got less bullet velocity and a little more drop than you'd expect, but if you learn how to line it up, it's actually a pretty good sniper, and you can build it so it ADS is pretty fast. So I have it as built as this SD silencer, which is the equivalent to the other silencers we've been using, where it sound suppression accuracy, but it hurts your aim down sight speed. If you're going to be more aggressive, go with the scout silencer, but I don't like to hurt the damage range of my snipers. But it doesn't hurt your ADS and gives you that sound suppression equivalent to the SD silencer. Then you go with the RE02K barrel. It helps your bullet velocity, helps your upper extremity damage, helps your accuracy. It's a sniper, so we're not super concerned with movement speed and aim down sight speed. The other ones, don't help. You could go the 660mm, helps your flinch resistance, but it's not quite as aggressive feeling, doesn't help your bullet velocity, and so it helps your flinch resistance, but we really want that bullet velocity on sniper, make it feel more hit scan. The Krausnik Scout hurts your bullet velocity, so that eliminates that. Same thing with the Krausnik 560mm, and then the rapid barrel decreases your one hit kill area, so like instead of head and neck, it probably is just head. Even though it helps your ADS and movement speed, sprint to fire speed, it hurts your aim, walking steadiness, and reduces your one hit kill area, so end up with the VDD REO02K barrel. If you just don't like that barrel, then I would try the 660mm barrel. Then it's kind of your choice, depending on feel for you, of the heavy foregrip or the strife angled. I know some people would like to run the SMLE pistol grip if you're a little more aggressive because your sprint to fire speed's faster. But the strife angled helps your aiming stability. It doesn't help your aiming stability quite as much as the heavy foregrip, which is why I end up on the heavy foregrip, because the heavy foregrip helps your aiming stability the most without giving you any other penalties. From there, I know it's weird. I don't really like looking through it, but right now the MK12 night vision optic makes you ADS like as fast as you're used to with the Modern Warfare car, the Swiss. It feels almost as fast. It feels faster than the SPR or any of the heavy snipers, and you just kind of get used to it, but it ADS is pretty fast. It only gives you a 3x zoom, so the zoom's not great, but if you're playing aggressive, you're not really sniping people from that far away, and I've hit shots with it upwards of 300 meters. So far, the car is the best feeling sniper to me, and that night vision, quick ADS definitely helps. For a magazine, we go with the 5-round fast mag. It increases your reload quickness without hurting you at all. You could go for the 3-round, which also helps your ADS, but then you only have 3 rounds, and that's not just quite enough. You could go with the smaller caliber, but you're hurting bullet velocity, range, bullet penetration, and damage, things we don't want to hurt. And same thing if you go to the even smaller rounds and it's the 20 round. The 20 seems like a lot, but it's just not worth it. Even increasing your fire rate. 5-round fast mag I found is actually really nice. Lengthen because we want the bullet velocity on the sniper. There's nothing else I'd really use. Like hollow point helps your limb damage, but it kills your bullet velocity. Same thing with incendiary. You get the fire damage, but hurts your bullet velocity and damage range, what we don't want to do. Subsonic hurts your bullet velocity. So lengthen just is the best choice. Rear grip, we went the fabric again like ARs because it helps your ADS speed, helps your sprint to fire speed, helps your hip fire accuracy. If you need more stability, consider the taped grip. It'll help you swap to your secondaries faster, as well as help your aiming stability. Or do the leather grip, helps your ADS speed and your aiming stability. But I just go with the fabric grip because I think the aiming stability is enough with the heavy foregrip on it and the barrel. And then this stock, the VDD thumbhole. It hurts your movement speed, hurts your sprint to fire speed, but this thing is not the Modern Warfare car or the Swiss, so that's not going to be as important, but it helps your aiming stability and your flinch resistant, which is very important for the sniper. If you want to be aggressive, you could try short stock, but that hurts your flinch resistant and hurts your aim walking steadiness. And what does help your aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, movement speed. I'm not quite the aggressive quick scoper I wish I was, so I end up with the thumbhole. The VDD 98 doesn't help anything that the short stock does. That's really useful. The wire stock only helps your sprint to fire speed and movement speed. Not that important on this sniper. And the padded doesn't give you any more stability or flinch resistance really over the thumbhole, and it hurts your movement speed and your aim down sight speed. At least the thumbhole doesn't hurt your aim down sight speed. And then from there, right now I have the perk Shrouded on. Shrouded hides your scope glint. I'm not quite sure that there's that much on this optic. And so I don't think there is because it's under 3 times, and I think you have to be over 4 times to have glint. So you could go with Fleet for the weapon swap quickness and the movement speed. You could go Unmarked. You could go Driller. Or you could go Quick Scope if you're quick scoping people. I would probably stick with Shrouded just in case they add glint or you want to use a different optic once this optic ADS speed gets nerfed, because I'm sure it will. But otherwise, I'd probably run Quick Scope or Fleet. And then once again, I fully loaded on. Either do fully loaded or deep breath if you're holding your breath a lot. For that, we have the Cooper Carbine. Cooper Carbine, it turns out, is a great AR sniper support. It's got a really fast fire rate. I really enjoyed this gun. For this build, we end up with the Mercury Silencer, just for the because it helps your sound suppression, your recoil control. You could go with the MX Silencer, but because this is going to be an SMG sniper support build, I decided to preserve my ADS some, especially because I'm going to go with the Carver foregrip. With the Carver foregrip, this thing pretty much doesn't move, but it does hurt your ADS. And then here, either go with the Gracie Rapid. It does hurt your accuracy and aim down sight speed, but greatly increases your fire rate and hip fire accuracy since we're running this more as SMG sniper support. Or go with the Cooper Custom. That helps your fire rate and your recoil control. Well, either one of these 2 barrels. Probably for the sniper support, I'd go with the Gracie Rapid actually. Then Slate Reflector. If you don't want to use an up close one because it's also sniper support, so you gotta have a little bit of range with it. Go with the 2.5 times, but I'd either go Slate Reflector or 2.5 times. No magazine. You can try the 30 caliber 45 or the 30, but I just didn't feel like it really killed any faster. Unfortunately, you only have 30 rounds, so it's a little bit of a problem. And the 60 round smaller caliber, so I don't like that. So either try the 30 round 45 mag or just stick with the stock mag. I didn't feel like it killed any faster and just added recoil. Then we go with lengthened. You could go with hollow point because it is also an SMG build, but I'd either go with hollow point or lengthened. And then leather grip, aim down sight speed, aiming stability. It's SMG, so I stick with kind of the SMG theme. So either go leather grip or fabric grip. And then Cooper Custom Padded, initial firing recoil, aiming stability, get hurt, but the flinch resistance and the accuracy and recoil, which is mainly why I used it during sustained fire, get helped. Nothing else gives you any really recoil control that you're going to use. Maybe the Cooper 45W, but it hurts your movement speed, which we don't want when this is kind of a SMG sniper support build. And remove stock hurts your recoil control. So I'd probably either go custom padded or 45W. Maybe you can go with the 45 RS if you don't mind harder recoil during sustained fire. And And then Vital perk and fully loaded. If you don't want to go Vital, you go Fleet for movement speed, weapon swap quickness, but other than that, there's probably nothing else I would use. Maybe Tight Grip to help with the recoil a little bit if you don't like managing it. Then number 2, the Cooper Carbine in the AR build. The only differences here is I went with the Ragdoll because it helps the bullet velocity, range, and recoil control. And I'd either go with that or the Cooper Custom. You don't get quite the recoil control you do, but you do get a faster fire rate. So one of those two, maybe the Cooper Custom is where I end up. Then Carver foregrip, again, no magazine this time. Once again, you can try the 30 carbine 45 round mags. We did go with the MX silencer this time. Lengthened rounds, the rubber grip for the recoil control, just because it is a little bouncy at range. The 3 to 6 times scope, once again, the Cooper custom padded, vital, and fully loaded. This time we have the M1912. That is, I believe, the second fastest killing SMG for the Vanguard guns. It's built the same way as the other SMGs. M1929 silencer, rapid barrel whenever you have it, SMLE pistol grip, the largest magazine. I don't really like the other caliber ones. It makes the gun way too bouncy. Hollow point again, fabric grip again, slate reflector. This time we went Frenzy for health regen after kills. If you don't go Frenzy, I would go with Fleet for the movement speed and weapon swap quickness. Fully loaded once again. Either go fully loaded or quick, maybe on hand or one of the melee ones. And then the adjustable stock again. Or the adjustable stock this time because it helps your sprint to fire speed and movement speed. The wire grip hurts your accuracy, both hip fire and your ADS accuracy as well as your recoil. The ragdoll kills your movement speed, your ADS speed, sprint to fire speed. The chariot SI kills your movement speed, and the chariot's marksman kills your movement speed. So it ends up the adjustable kind of by process of elimination. Once again, same perks, lethal and tactical. And the best loadout for Vanguard only is going to be the Bren. It's the same MX silencer, Carver foregrip, largest mag, lengthened rubber grip, 3 to 6 times scope. Sleight of hand because it's an LMG. Otherwise, I'd probably go with tight grip because this thing does bounce a lot. And so I'd go with tight grip. If you're playing solos, you're worried about Berthas, you could try dismantle or wreck. But I'd go with sleight of hand or tight grip. And then once again, fully loaded, you can go on hand. The only difference, once again, is barrels. The Royal barrel helps your recoil control, your bullet velocity, and gets rid of any damage drop-off. So, there's no other reason to use any other barrels. I mean, hurts your recoil control and your fire rate, hurts your recoil control, your body damage, and your sprint to fire speed, and hurts your ADS speed, movement speed, and sprint to fire speed, without giving you much more control. And so, we end up with the 705mm Royal. The 775 does say it helps the range more when you look down at the graph, but it's not listed in the positives. I'm going to go with the Royal barrel. And then the stock, it gives you accuracy, flinch resistance, recoil control, and aiming stability. Everything else either hurts aiming stability and initial firing recoil. This is probably the second stock I would run because it does give you flinch resistance and recoil control during sustained fire. The remove stock hurts recoil control. The shield and padded kills your movement speed and your sprint to fire speed while not giving you any more recoil control. And the Shield 12B, once again, only gives you horizontal recoil control. It does help your ADS, but hurts your hip fire and movement speed. So I end up on the Queen's Model 11. That's the most I'm going to go into detail, these Vanguard loadouts. Once again, sorry, I forgot. The Owen gun, it's like broken TTK right now. It's faster than almost every SMG. I just hate the gun with the giant mag on the right side. Same thing with the Bren. But these are the two fastest Vanguard TTKs. And once again, it's built with the 1929 silencer, the rapid barrel, the SMLE pistol grip, the largest stock ammunition mag, hollow point, slate reflector, fabric grip, remove stock. The other stocks hurt your movement speed, aim down sight speed, hurt your accuracy and recoil control, hurt your movement speed, hurt your flinch resistance, and your recoil during sustained fire. The remove stock helps your movement speed, helps your sprint to fire speed, helps your ADS speed, and it just seems to feel the best to me. We go acrobatic here. Either go acrobatic or fleet. Acrobatic helps your move speed and your sprinting move speed, while fleet helps movement speed and weapon swap quickness. I'd rather get the extra sprint moving speed bonus. And then either fully loaded or on hand or quick. Like I said, that's the most I'm going to go into detail because the next loadouts, you've heard me talk about every single one of these guns, pretty much. And here we have the EM2, which dropped all the way down to 5. It does have way more recoil without a crazy fast time to kill. I wouldn't say way more recoil, but definitely has more recoil. It's the old build we've always ran. Agent suppressor, task force barrel, 3 times optic, field agent foregrip, and the Stanag 50 round mag. The Lappa, the agency suppressor, the extended barrel, the bruiser grip, the Tiger Team Spotlight, and 50-round mag. As before, if you don't like the iron sights, the iron sights are ugly, get rid of the Tiger Team Spotlight or the bruiser grip depending on your feel, and put on the Microflex LED. Do not use stocks on Cold War weapons anymore. They nerf those into the ground. And now that we can use any light lethals and tacticals, I'm back to Semtex and Heartbeat Sensor. But any lethal that's your favorite and any tactical that's your favorite, it's really up to you. Number 4, the MG82. It's an LMG. It's got a lot of recoil. That's why it's number 4, even though it's got one of the fastest time to kills in all of Warzone. Same loadout we're used to. Agency suppressor, task force barrel, 3 times optic, field agent grip, and fast round mag. If you want any of my explanations on these Cold War mono warfare weapons, just check out one of my other loadout videos. I go into more detail, but this video is already running long, so I'm just going to breeze through these real quick. The MP5, we used to run a stock on the MP5 because the barreled iron sights changed. So instead of running a barrel and barely giving us any more range, we would run a stock with the Tiger Team Spotlight and the bruiser grip, but the stocks got nerfed into the dirt. So now we have Agent Suppressor, Tiger Team Spotlight, bruiser grip, 50-round mag, and either Serpent Wrap or Airborne Elastic, depending on what you feel is better. The Airborne Elastic has an has a barely faster ADS speed than the Serpent, and the Serpent has a lot less penalties, so I stick with the Serpent Wrap. Once again, perks, lethal, tactical, up to you. Number 3, there is no car, there's no Swiss on this list. I have the SPR. The car and the Swiss, I think like 80+% more flinch resistance added to it, while the SPR has remained untouched. And the SPR is not a whole lot slower on ADS. It's faster than the Tundra. It's got better bullet velocity than the Tundra. And it didn't get the flinch destroyed like the Swiss in the car. Monolithic suppressor, SPR barrel, which is their sniper barrel, tac laser, solo zero with SPR, 28mm optic, and the normal round mags. Then I have the PPSH as my support. I would either run this or maybe the EM2 with the Cold War AK. GRU suppressor, task force barrel, Tiger Team Spotlight, bruiser grip, 55 round mag, or 71 if that's what you prefer. Same perks, lethal, tactical. Number 2 is now the AK. The AK's got a barely slower time to kill than the EM2, but it's got a lot less recoil to it. Same build as the EM2 though. GRU suppressor, Spetsnaz RPK barrel, Spetsnaz grip, Baker Light 60 round, Axial arms 3 time. The OTS is still really good despite its recent nerf, and it's going to keep the same build that it always has with GRU suppressor, task force barrel, Tiger Team Spotlight, bruiser grip, and like the only fast mag I use because it's the same amount of ammo and it doesn't really hurt your ADS all that much. Same perks, lethal and tactical. And my best loadout is going to be the FARA. It's been the FARA forever. They haven't touched this thing at all. It still has virtually no recoil with a similar long-range CTK to the EM2, the Cold War AK. It's a little slow to ADS, a little slow to reload, but other than that, it's just almost exact same time to kill. A lot less recoil than the EM2, the AK. Slower than the MG82 to kill in like all the LMGs now that all the weapons have changed, but faster movement speed, faster ADS, faster reload. It's a GRU suppressor, Spetsnaz RPK barrel, Spetsnaz grip, Spetsnaz 60 round, and Axial arms 3 time. Exact same build as the AK. Believe it or not, the Mono Warfare MP5, and the only Mono Warfare gun on this list, by the way, is now one of the best SMGs after all the recent nerfs to the OTS, the Cold War MP5, and some other SMGs. It's got like it's got one of the fastest SMG time to kills now. And that's what we're used to: monolithic integral suppressor, Merc 4 grip, 45 round mag, FTAC collapsible stock. And then if you like to ADS speed, tac laser. If you like to hip fire, 5mm laser. And then you can also consider dropping the FTAC collapsible stock because the shots to kill have gone up over time, and put on sleight of hand. And then once again, same perks, lethal, tactical. If you stuck all the way through all those loadouts, thank you. This video is going to end up being almost 35 minutes by the time it's all said and done, so it's definitely a long one. But thank you for sticking through all of that. There's been a lot of experimenting with the Vanguard guns. Definitely takes a lot of time to build loadouts, figure out loadouts with 10 attachments, and takes a really long time to go over all of them like you saw in this video. Future videos will probably keep the explanation shorter because I'm sure not a whole lot will change. But all that being said, to wrap this all up, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more. Comment down below what your favorite Vanguard guns are, what your favorite guns in the Battle Royale mode are, where I'm right, where I'm wrong. Let me know down below. I will have JGod's spreadsheet linked down below. He has a new spreadsheet. Helped me form all my Vanguard loadouts a lot, along with trying to feel out all the recoils on them. But I'll have that link down below, as well as my social medias, so please feel free to check all of that out. Once again, thank you for sticking through to this point if you have. But I will catch you on Caldera, and Rebirth Island whenever it comes back from whatever they're fixing. Get frying. Have a good day. Bye.